Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Well, happy Sunday to all of our beautiful true crime junkies out there. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education.
Well, good morning there, Mr. Glenn. It's nice to see ya.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never
Guys,
stop
don't
unless
forget
I
to
can
hit that
swallow
thumbs
all
up
the
button
bad
on your
feelings
way
in my
in
head
and let us
when
know
I'm
where you're at and what the temperature is. Are you guys cold? It's gonna be getting cold here in Florida.
At a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a
Well, I'm not visiting Nebraska anytime soon, folks. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I think you let them 66 beautiful prayer warriors have arrived to the Bullhorn Betty channel. Thank you. YouTube still hasn't gotten things worked up yet or fixed up yet or whatever the case may be up yet, because I was watching a little bit of Justin for All last night on Clutch the Pearls, and of course, I saw that he was having some freezing issues and stuff, so it makes me feel a little better that it's not just us here, but I'm noticing that some of the fluctuation is coming out of the system, but that's okay, guys. We've got a crazy story. I know it's been going on crazy all over, and I know you guys have been waiting for my comments. As you know, yesterday was Laura Day. It was Delilah's day. Delilah has a day. She has a Saturday, and that's her play date day. It is a standing every single week. We do the same thing every Saturday. So as you guys can imagine, I was unable to really come here and go over it. And when I finally did get back home and I did get an opportunity to go live, Justin was live and he was talking pretty much about the same topic I was going to be talking about. So I thought, you know what, whatever, we'll go over there, listen to that for a little bit, which I did. And I agree with a lot of the stuff that he says, but today's not a topic on Sebastian. We're going to talk about Sebastian later this afternoon if you guys would like to come and sub up. Right now, we're going to be covering stuff that's a little bit more pressing at this moment. We had another death in Minneapolis. So this is very serious, and we need to break this stuff down because I know, like we said, we've been covering this stuff because we're all a little scared. We're all a little scared about what is going on in our country. We're all a little scared about, what the future may hold, and we're seeing all this stuff breaking out. But I think the one thing we can take away from everything that we're dealing with right now is it's isolated to one state. And so many have to ask ourselves why. Right? And then when you look at that state, you realize that they have epic fraud going on, epic fraud that's literally ingrained in all of their politicians, even all the way up to the AG, the one that's supposed to be enforcing the law. Their entire state is infected. And so that's why we're not having these things going on in California, Pennsylvania, New York. We're having them in Minnesota, of all places. Minnesota, okay? Who the hell ever thought we were going to have an epicenter in Minnesota, of all states? Okay? Who is prepared for LA riots and maybe a New York City riot? I mean, let's talk about it, okay? Hey, Game with Nat, it's nice to see you. The mayor is sending them out on a death mission. He is, and we're going to go through all of that here in just a little bit. Let me say hi to you guys, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I've got a little intro, but I want you guys to just, let's lower the temperature just a little bit. I know we're not here causing the problems. Problems are out there causing the problems, but at some point, we, the people, have to pull our heads out of our own behinds and decide what we want. Clearly, our government is not doing what we need them to do. Okay? We don't have to agree with each other. We don't have to agree ideologically. We don't have to be of the same religion or even the same political party. But we can all agree that we are being failed. Can we just agree on that? Anyways, before we get started, I'm present. It's nice to see you. I saw you, Melanie. I just haven't gotten down to you yet, so thank you. Another prayer warrior. So, Libby, it's nice to see you. Glenn, I don't know. See, I'd like to say gal palin, but usually the guy has to say gal palin. Anyways, I love the statement. Forward progress, not perfection. We are not a perfection type of channel over here. We talk about it all the time. Groovy Gal, let them 66. Denise, it's nice to see you. Beautiful Outer Banks up in the house. And I'm surprised we have this many people up out of bed on a Sunday morning. I was figuring we were going to be here. I was going to be here a little light, a little light this morning. But you guys came out. But again, everybody's wanting to know what the heck is going on. And nobody knows who the hell to trust, okay? And you guys come here care. You guys know me. I cut through the crap. I don't really care. If it's our side, it's our side. If it's their side, it's their side. I don't really care. I just want the truth, because we can't fix a problem until we have clarity, right? Do I really know what happened? No, I don't. We haven't seen the body cam footage from the law enforcement officers. I'm not making a decision on, well, I've already made my mind up, but I'm siding with law enforcement, period. Until there's actual footage to produce that's inaccurate, because we know how wrestling is. We saw that man fighting with law enforcement. What was he fighting for? What was he grabbing for? So I want to see more videos, but we're going to get into the whole story here in just a few moments. Denise, Outer Banks, Big Back Mike, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Hello. Game with Nat, it's nice to see 11 here in New York City. Oh, God bless you. God bless you. Our heart bleeds for you, honey. If you ever need a place to run, come to Florida. We're open. God bless you. Poor thing. In New York City and at 11 degrees. Okay. Brrr. We don't like that. I'm from Florida. South Mississippi, 66 degrees. Libby, you're kind of like me right now. It gonna get cold, honey. We got storms moving through tomorrow. So you might as well go ahead and start pulling out those blankies. You might as well start pulling out those blankies. I got mine. I've got several different blankets. I'm going to be cold, but I got heat in the house, But this is going to last a little while. Are we really going to want to run the heat all the time? I don't have a fireplace. I don't have a free system of heat. I have to pay for it, and I don't like to pay for anything. I have to be honest with you. Did I tell you I'm a conservative? I'm a cheap biatch. Cheyenne, it's nice to see you. Thank you. Let them 66. She says, one of our prayer warriors. She says, good morning on this wonderful Sunday. Amen to that. Prayer warriors needing prayers for all that needs them, and praying for peace for the world. Yeah, I know. For the first time, the pageant ladies, world peace really has a different tune for it today, doesn't it? It surely does. When there's any state in our union that looks like a third world country, I think we all it gives us all heartburn, let's be honest. Eeyore, it's nice to see you. Alcoholic, good morning, ladies. I hope you're doing well. Oh, Daisy Duke. Angel, it's nice to see you, loves. I hope you're doing well. Who else do we have? It just popped up on me. Oh, there's you guys. I got Cheyenne. Oh, Patty, it's nice to see you. And our other beautiful prayer warrior, that is Melanie. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone stays warm. Yes, and safe, because the storm, much love to you, BHB. Prayers to whoever needs it. Amen. Bombastic, it's nice to see you. It will spread around. Good morning. If you guys don't know, this channel is truly making a push. Hey, Robin, it's nice to see you. Let me get through this. We got Game with Nat. We got Unicorn, Indiana. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. I think I got you all. If I didn't, I'll catch Arena. It's nice to see you. I love that. Great vibes to everyone. We're all going to be rocking it in. We're all going to be going to church and like, hey! And if you guys aren't considering going to church this morning, please do. We need prayers. But we're pushing really hard around this country. I know we have a few people from each state, and right now we're trying to pass around so maybe you guys can get into your local groups and remind people how cold it is outside. I'm sure they don't need to be reminded, but sometimes they're so busy trying to prepare their home, they forget to stop and think about other things, right? So if you guys could all go into your local chats on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on any of the other things that I don't know about because I'm old as dirt. Let's go on those and remind people, if you have extra jackets, old blankets, socks, if they have or would like to, donate or sponsor some blankets, some toiletry items, and stuff like that. to your local banks, to your local shelters, to your local churches that help your local community. Please consider that, because we are going to have cold weather. There are more people on the streets today in America than we've ever had before, because let's face it, our economy went to crap, and all of our low-level wage workers can't afford rent, can't afford homes. Many of them have been kicked out. There's a lot of people for the first time, veterans and other people, that are out there on the streets. And there is going to be somebody that dies from this cold weather that does not have a roof over their head. And if we can just save a few people this season by donating some jackets and blankets, and all of us just do our part, we could save someone, right? And it's all about that. We can't save everybody. We know that. We're logical people. But if we can just save one person, 2 people, 3 people, a family, that would really be great. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys allowing me to bend your ear. As you know, this morning is a little crazy. So good morning. If you guys are new to this channel, who you see in the chat is known as the Coffee Club. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime, and today's episode is one of the most important and serious discussions yet. We've been having a lot of serious discussions, but now this marks number 2 of an individual that lost their life. Minnesota Federal Immigration Enforcement, the tragic shooting of Alex Pretti, and the political leadership that has amplified chaos instead of clarity or quelling it. This is not a local story. It's a national moment of truth about law and order, federal authority, and political responsibility. Before we start here, I would like to take a few moments just to provide you guys my opinion so far. And I know it may not help. I know some people may already have their mind made up. I personally have looked at several footage. It's hard to tell for me what I'm observing. Okay, I will be honest with you. But what I can tell and what I have heard is that they decided they were going to arrest him. They put their hands on him to start getting him arrested, and he was resisting arrest. During that resistance, obviously a gun was brandished. You could hear them saying gun, gun, gun. You could see that the situation went from just trying to tackle a guy to get him under arrest to a much dangerous situation. But we'll get in to all of that. But as I was saying, before we get started, here's what you need to know right up front. ICE is a federal law enforcement agency with the authority to enforce immigration law. We support that authority. Okay, we support law and order. We support honest enforcement of our federal laws, and they are entitled to enforce our federal laws. We voted for deportation of those who have unlawfully entered this country, and I realize there may be a segment of our population that did not vote for that, but the majority did. And we elected our president fairly, and this was the directive of the American people. You do not have a right to fight that, because we went to a ballot box and we had very strong choices here. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, which ended up being a piece of garbage, both of them. She's the one that needs the knee pads, by the way. And we had Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. We know that there was a lot of theft of our elections, yet it was too big to rig. Okay? So I absolutely believe that there were hand over fist people that agreed with this directive. We voted for those deportation, and now we demand truth, accountability, and justice for all Americans, especially when U.S. citizens are killed. This marks the second homicide, well, I shouldn't say homicide, second death of protesters. I'm not going to say homicide because They were lawful shootings from everywhere I can see. I did hear the order that was given before the gun was brandished to stop resisting. He knew he was going to be arrested, and he tried to grab for his gun. You can see that there was a struggle. While you can't see what's going on in the struggle, despite what ABC, NBC, MSNBC, you guys know I looked at all the papers. Either way, or all the videos. Either way, we're going to get into it. Today, we're going to talk about Alex Pretti's shooting, Minnesota official responses, and why this rapidly escalated into what we are calling an orchestrated insurrection. We'll bring you verified videos, verified posts from X, and documented statements from officials. Every clip we show you will be introduced and analyzed. So let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and bring up for you guys our first, I guess, resource, right? So it says political violence. Alex Pretti's parents begged him not to engage with federal officers. Okay, so if you guys have not realized it yet, Alex's parents knew he was going to be going out there. Apparently, he told them. He told them that he was upset about Renee Good, which we know Renee Good was a justified shooting, right? She was justified because she tried to take her car and ram into an ICE agent, which caused a broken foot and internal bleeding of that agent. He was absolutely justified. Many people knew that there was nothing that was going to happen to that officer, right? And then we have this incident here, which again, you definitely saw him agitating, him being in the road. As soon as he stepped in that road to prevent ICE from doing their job, he committed a crime. Okay? And they decided to arrest him. They weren't trying to arrest the women. Why? Because he was the one in the road directing traffic and impeding their investigation. You understand? So he was the criminal out there. And now he's going to be, just like Renee Good, go down, his legacy is going to go down as a domestic terrorist in this country. You cannot do that, okay? And people are bringing up that he's a NICU nurse. Well, we definitely know that the medical field is a deplorable field. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there were more doctors, clinicians, physicians, nurses, including NICU nurses, that came out and said deplorable statements that make me question ever going to a doctor again, because I am scared that they're going to kill me. Because I'm a red hat. They hate us. And if I am ever in jeopardy, they may turn their back on me and let me perish instead of fighting for me, because they are so deranged in their head. And it's scary. It is scary. But we saw it. So when they start saying a NICU nurse, that means nothing to me. Because I've seen more violent rhetoric from people that should be saving lives. It was deplorable. It's disgusting. It's sickening. But it's definitely not something that's going to sway me and say, oh, this guy's a good guy. Okay? This guy's a good guy. So they said Alex Pretti's parents begged him not to engage with federal officers, but he was insistent. Now classified as a domestic terrorist, Pretty brought a military-style pistol with optics and between 30 and 51 rounds of ammunition. He came expecting a firefight at distance. If he were merely carrying for self-protection, he wouldn't have had that many rounds on him. It's clear he was prepared to kill as many officers as possible. He didn't bring his permit or ID, and it is illegal to carry in Minnesota without both. So, hey, Game with Nat, you cooking this morning, Bet? Yes, that's true. Yep. Hey, DeBoss, it's nice to see you. I'm in northern Nevada. Don't see any riot. Exactly. No other, and I just want to be very clear. These are going on all over the country. This is not isolated to Minnesota. They're not taking all their agents into Minnesota and saying, okay, we're taking this state over next. You know, they've got agents in Tennessee, they've got agents in New York, they've got agents in Maine, they've got agents in Portland, they've got agents in California, Los Angeles, you know, all of these rioting states, right? I mean, come on, Portland. Let's be honest. Raise your hand if you would have expected, or put a 1 in the chat. Hold on. Let me get my poll first before you guys answer. If you guys would expect a riot in Portland, Oregon before Minneapolis, Minnesota, put a 1 in the chat. If you believe Minneapolis, Minnesota is just the rioting capital of the United States, please, by all means, put a 2 in the chat. Let's gauge our audience. We got 90 people in chat right now. Let's gauge you guys a little bit, right? Do you guys, don't you, I mean, for me, I don't want to give mine. I'll wait until you guys vote, but would you guys believe you would have more of a probability of a major riot happening in Portland, Oregon, as opposed to Minneapolis, Minnesota? Minnesota? You know? Minnesota? Like, of all freaking places, Minnesota? Oh, let me change this to live chat. I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that we've got this going on in Minnesota. And so you have to kind of look at it and say, what is making Minnesota go crazy? Well, they were caught with their freaking hand in the damn cookie jar. I mean, their whole damn bodies in the damn cookie jar. They had just started camping out in the cookie jar, and they were just shoving freaking cookies in their face. And then they got caught. And now all of a sudden, oh, we can't let Trump in. We can't let the feds in here. Of course not. Y'all about to go to jail. Y'all about to go to jail. Crazy. Sorry, guys. We run a show here, so I got to make sure. My producer. I fired my producer. No, I didn't. I've been the producer of this show since I can remember. Good gracious. So we're going to be showing initial reports surrounding the ICE shooting of Alex Pretti. I'm not through all of my posts just quite yet. So let's go over here because people need to understand what we are seeing out here in the country and what does it mean.
Continue to break out near a Minneapolis intersection where Border Patrol agents shot and killed a 37-year-old man this morning. The Department of Homeland Security says the man was carrying a semi-automatic handgun along with 2 high-capacity magazines and violently resisted being disarmed. Garrett.
And violently, we watched him violently resist, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let me ask you something. Let's do another poll. Let's do a 3 and a 4. Let's do a 3 and a 4, right? Okay. If an officer, and this is for, if you're a hater, right? If you're a hater in this chat, please participate. This is a great opportunity for you to participate. But if an officer approaches you and gives you a command, are you going to hit that officer? If you're going to put your hands on that officer, put a 3 in the chat. If you know better than to hit or put your hand on an officer or not follow their commands, put a 4 in the chat. 3 if you would defy and beat the crap out of an officer. 4 you would not and you would obey. I'd like to find out what I'd like to find out how stupid my audience is. I'm just saying. And haters, please participate. Please participate. Right? If you guys haven't seen, my audience isn't stupid, okay? Just to make sure that we get this on the record, okay? My audience isn't stupid here, okay? They say no, we don't want to tango with the feds, okay? Because normal people have freaking brain cells, okay? And common sense that tells them you don't mess with federal agents that have federal law behind them that have big old beautiful guns and a big old beautiful law and those things called handcuffs that could take your rights and your life away from you. You don't tango with somebody like that. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you don't do that. And if our highly educated individuals in this country weren't taught that in their high schools or their Ivy League schools to get those NICU nurse credentials, well, they're dum-dums. This man went to school and was probably indoctrinated. His parents probably looked like really good people, right? And they were really smart, and they loved their son. And they said, please don't get involved, son. Please don't do this. Please don't get yourself hurt. Please don't get involved with this. And he didn't listen to his parents, and now they have to bury him. And not only do their parents have to bury their own son that they love a lot. They sent to school to become that NICU nurse. He obviously came from a really good family. And now they got to put their son to rest and be known that he is a domestic terrorist. A domestic terrorist. How many of you parents want to bury your children as a domestic terrorist? I certainly do not. I can't imagine how hard this is on the parents. It's not hard on the boyfriends, girlfriends, or the significant others because they're right there with the person that's out there in the street looking like an idiot, right? It's the parents that have to pay the ultimate sacrifice when their child is put in the ground too soon. It's the parent. Yeah, their significant other, they cry, they feel bad. But they didn't give birth to that child. That mother did. That mother standing by that casket, having to put her child 6 feet in the ground. It's not fair to them. This is not fair to them. None of this is.
Garrett Tenney is in Minneapolis with more. Garrett.
Yeah, John, so we moved from the site of the shooting over to the federal Whipple building, and we are here because this is where officials said the National Guard will first be arriving to relieve the sheriff's department here to free them up to be able to help with other parts of the city. We actually saw just 30 seconds ago the first sign of the National Guard arriving here, multiple National Guard trucks that came right past here and went right down the road. So what we can see here is this has been one of the central points of protest over the last 3 weeks almost now. And you can see they have erected these concrete barriers and this fencing, and you see protesters lined all along this fencing here, and they are staged here like they're going to be here for a while. You can see there's a snack table back here. There's a
I just want to let you know, if you're out there in this type of degree weather and you're too stupid to realize that the federal law enforcement has a right to enforce our federal laws, well, I guess maybe that's the reason why you're too stupid to get a real job. I'm just throwing that out there.
Propane heater with a propane tank. They have blankets as well for anyone who's feeling cold because it is negative 10, negative 12 degrees. But this is the first place that the National Guard is going to be.
Okay, first and foremost, law enforcement. Let me educate you guys a little bit. When you have a propane tank out there that close to a federal building, that is a threat to that federal building. There should be no propane tanks near a federal building. Let me be very clear on that. So whatever federal agents are out there, it's time for you to go in the crowd and disarm them from having propane tanks. The hell? There ain't no propane tanks near federal buildings. The hell's wrong with you? I'd be ripping those. I clearly got some emails to write. There are going to be absolutely no propane tanks out there.
Being deployed
Zero.
To what could be the first of multiple areas around the city as we wait to see, as we go into this evening, what happens with these protests. And if in fact, like the governor and the mayor have said, that they do have enough forces on hand to be able to control things and keep things calm and peaceful is what they were calling for people to do. But we're going to be keeping an eye on that going forward, John.
So what we have here is they're having National Guards, like Tim Walz is staging National Guards, right? National Guards. The only reason why they're staging National Guards is if they can't control their own citizens, okay? That means they're not leading properly, okay? There's no other state in our union, all right, in the United States that are bringing in National Guards. Okay? So let's take down the illusion that this is happening all over the country. We have enforcement actions happening all over the country, but only one state and one corrupted community seems to think that they're above the law. I say lock their asses up. I don't care how many citizens have. If you're stupid enough to be fighting with federal agents, you're stupid enough to have to spend money to get an attorney and do all this stuff. But one thing you don't do is do not put our law enforcement in danger, because they don't care whether you're white, black, brown, green with yellow polka dots, okay? They will shoot you dead, okay? If their life is in danger, they will shoot you dead. I don't know what we have to say to people. I don't want people hurt out there, but I'm not going to soften this message to them because I don't want them putting themselves in jeopardy and having to be another story where, let's face it, who's going to be talking about Alex's name in a couple weeks? Nobody. Who's talking about Renee's name? Nobody. There are going to be nobodies in a few weeks. Absolutely nobody's. Nobody's going to give a shit about them. Nobody's going to say their name. Nobody's going to care. Nobody. The only people that are going to be set with this are their families. Their families are going to care for the rest of their life. We, the people, we don't care. This is selective outrage. This is a government that allowed these two people to be pawns. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. Do you think you're losing any sleep? Did you sleep just fine last night? I bet every single person in my chat right now, unless you have insomnia, slept just fine last night. I certainly did. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to be realistic, so maybe something will like, just sink in. You know? We all slept last night, folks. You know who didn't? You know who didn't? Alex's family. They didn't sleep last night. The rest of the world did. I want people to remember that. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to make people see the truth. And don't put your butts in danger. Don't put your butts in danger. Good gracious. I went to bed at 8 p.m., slept like a baby. Exactly. Bingo. Point exactly. Nobody cares. Okay? In a few weeks, even these people with selective outrage are going to forget both of these people's names. Okay? When Tim Walz is arrested, when Mayor Frey's arrested, when the fraud is further exposed, nobody's going to remember these two hotheads' names. They're domestic terrorists. What you're probably going to have is, if they're buried in a grave, we're probably going to have some YouTubers in a few years pissing on their grave. Oops. And I'm not trying to be rude about that. It's just the reality of the situation. I don't want people putting themselves in any further danger. Instead of calling for calm and facts, Minnesota leadership chose outrage and escalation. On January 24th, 2026, 37-year-old Alex Pretti was shot and killed by federal border agents during an immigration enforcement action in Minneapolis. Local police confirmed the fatal shooting, making this the second fatal encounter involving federal agents in Minnesota just this month. Federal authorities have described the encounter as involving an armed individual, which there's no dispute about that. He was armed. We did see them struggling with this man, so I would assume it was an attempt to disarm him. State officials and bystanders' video have shown conflicting evidence about whether Alex was armed at the moment of the shooting. I can tell you from everything I had observed, and this is just me, everything that I had observed, here, what we're seeing on our screen right here, is that he was standing in the middle of the road. I can't show you guys. I mean, I will put together a video that will be slowed down to certain spots that I can get away with. But I mean, at the end of the day, this man was shot live on video. So obviously YouTube has no appetite for that type of content. So we have to make sure we get it really, PG rated. Okay. So I'm just showing you photos here as opposed to videos. But let's talk about what I observed. And you guys can go on X and look at all these videos yourself. But what I personally observed from different angles is that he was obstructing their operation. As soon as he stepped into the street and blocked traffic or tried to impede the investigation, which when he stepped into that road and tried to get photos and stop law enforcement from moving, that was the crime, okay? And as you know, law enforcement, federal partners are not putting up with that anymore. If you impede their operation, they're going to arrest you. So whenever they arrest you, you cannot resist arrest. You have committed a crime. They have every authority because they are law enforcement, despite what Mayor Frey and Tim Walz are trying to tell their residents, but they're telling their residents because they're using the residents as pawns. They don't care how many of their residents are killed. And that's pretty sad because our governor here would never put our lives in danger intentionally. I mean, he does play dirty, sleazy politics. I am not a Ron DeSantis fan, and anybody affiliated or associated with Ron DeSantis will be on my shit list in the state of Florida. I will not vote for him. And so there is that. But at the end of the day, our governor is not going to tell us lies like ICE isn't a real law enforcement agent, right? That's only to incite what's being incited out there. And I hope he is held accountable for these crimes because Tim Walz, in my opinion, has committed crimes, not just crimes, capital crimes. I believe Renee Good as well as Alex Pretti are his responsibility. And I think he should be held to account for that. But whether Alex was armed at the moment of shooting is to be seen, but I'd have to say, you heard those officers say gun. I mean, I could hear it clear as multiple. So obviously a gun was brandished at the time of struggle. And you could see he was fighting something. So for me to have a stretch that he was reaching for his gun, I'd have to say, yeah, he would. I don't see why any law enforcement is not going to just willy-nilly shoot somebody. Okay, that idea is out. We're seeing these people physically putting law enforcement in danger. Okay, so let's just stop with the semantics and the bullshit. Pretti was a U.S. citizen and a lawful gun owner. According to DHS, the agent fired shots because the individual approached border officials with a handgun. Federal crimes are contested by multiple videos showing Pretti holding a phone prior to being pepper sprayed and tackled, and that is true. I will tell you, I did not see a gun brandished at that time. When I heard them screaming gun, it's when they were struggling, and he was putting up a fight with all. I mean, there was 6 agents on him, and he was still fighting. None of us. We just did a poll in this chat, and our own people here in this chat. None of us would have been so stupid to do that. So this guy was that stupid, and he lost his life because of it. You cannot fight with law enforcement. When they give you a command, you better follow it. They do not play. I try to tell you. You know, this the black community are these black activists that hate white people, okay? And there are some, right? I'm not going to paint with a broad brush, but there are some. We all know it. They're out there saying that officers just want to kill black people, just want to, shoot, bang, 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 black people, okay? Which is not true. If their life is in danger, they don't care what color. They don't sit and say, how did you vote last year in the elections, folks? They don't ask you that kind of question at all. Because when you put their life in danger, all they want to do is go home to their children. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get home to their children. So just remember that. Because I want you guys to think for yourself. What would you do if you were being attacked or there was a possibility of you not making it back to your family? I can tell you my decision is made up in my mind. I'm just saying, not playing. Okay? So here are the documented facts as we currently understand them. Again, he's a citizen, a U.S. citizen, which to be honest, at the beginning, I heard he was illegal. He's not illegal. He's a U.S. citizen. He's a lawful gun owner, but we know that he was not permitted properly at the time he had his gun on him. He's required to have his permit and his driver's license, which he carried neither. According to DHS, the agent fired shots because the individual approached border control with a handgun. We know that he did not approach the border control with a handgun. That might have been a misstatement because the people that are giving and we're going to go over all of these statements, but the people that are giving the press conferences aren't people that are right there on the scene. They're getting, information from reports or from individuals that may have misspoken or misunderstood, just a plain misunderstanding, right? According to DHS, again, had a handgun. We know he had a handgun. At what time did he brandish it at federal officers is the question. Federal claims there are contested by multiple videos. I don't think it's contested, but it's definitely, it gives us a little reason for pause. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension was initially prevented from accessing the scene. They're not federal agents. This is a federal agent scene, and protests immediately followed that morning were intensified throughout the day. This incident is now at the center of a national debate over both federal authority and local political responsibility. The politicians are putting them in harm's way. So here is the statements from Border Patrol, and I want you guys to hear them in their entirety.
We have a lot of information about what happened. We're waiting to hear his words. He's coming to the podium right now. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Gregory Bovino, and I have the privilege and honor of leading United States Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection here in Minneapolis. Some of those brave men and women of Border Patrol and Department of Homeland Security law enforcement join me here today to show support for all federal law enforcement who have been under constant attack in Minneapolis for weeks now.
And we all seen it.
This morning was no different. At 9:05 a.m. Central Standard Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta.
So a bad guy. Okay, a targeted. You guys hear that? Targeted. That means they had their target. They knew who they were going for. They knew where they were going, and they were going to do that. Again, there would not have to be this many federal law enforcement agents on the road if they weren't being obstructed and violently attacked by the citizens because of the amplified rhetoric from their politicians saying that these people aren't real law enforcement.
Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault to intention.
I just want to make sure that my audience knows that these people here are federal law enforcement agents. They have a right to arrest you. And not only can they arrest you, they can throw you in jail for a really, really, really long time. Because I don't know if you've looked at federal penalties when you're charged federally. It's no cakewalk, folks. You're going down, okay? You're going down. You know how we joke about being, buried under the jail? You know where that theory came from? Do ya? The feds don't play. Okay? I might be able to get away with a little something around Manatee County. And you guys might be able to get away with a little something around your county. Okay? But when you come monkey effing with the feds, bring a toe tag with you. Make sure you have your mommy and daddy's telephone number on that toe tag, okay? Thank you. Thank you kindly. And I have to use language like apparently people don't understand.
Inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
I think people misunderstood his statement because now that I hear his statement, I understand what he meant. And in his statement is 100% true. He said that this guy approached law enforcement, which he approached him. We watched him. And we now know that he approached them with a loaded semi-automatic weapon. That's what he just said. He did not lie about his statement. People have been manipulating and twisting this statement saying, oh, they said it, they approached him with the gun out. That's not what this Border Patrol guy just said. He just said that this guy approached law enforcement with a gun. He had a gun on his person when he approached law enforcement. That statement is absolutely 100% accurate. There's no dispute about that. The man did have a gun on him. Now, people are trying to stretch it and say, oh, he came walking up to him. We didn't see no gun on him. We only saw him with a cell phone. But that's not what this man said. Let's listen to the word. Words matter. Can we all agree words matter in our society and how those words are stated? Let's listen.
Harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license.
Let's listen to what he says about the...
During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
That is a true statement. He did not say that the gun was brandished. He never said the gun was brandished. So all of these ABC, we know mainstream media. Mainstream media will always lie. Okay? I don't know why. We need the Charlie Kirk Act. We need the Charlie Kirk Act because I'm sick of the propaganda. But we got ABC out there saying, oh, he said he brandished the gun. We looked at all of the angles and we know for a fact he only had a cell phone in his hand. Well, this officer never said it was brandished. He said he approached the agents and he had a loaded gun on him. Those are absolutely truthful statements. Those are absolutely truthful statements.
The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted.
We have him. How many people? Let me ask you guys this. Let's walk through this a little by slow. I can't show the video. Okay, until I work on the video, I haven't had time to work on the video. This was breaking all day yesterday. I didn't get home until 6:30 at night yesterday, almost 7. Actually, I think I pulled into the house at 7 o'clock last night. So I got here fairly late. And to get all this video, look at all the video, I do have the stuff downloaded. Okay, let me just show you. I'll let you guys listen. I've got the stuff downloaded.
Things got buried.
Okay? I got the stuff downloaded, but I need to edit it. So when I went over to CapCut to edit this morning, I can't put my transitions in. I can't put my blurs in. Okay? If I can't put my transitions and I can't put my blurs in, let me show you. Hold on. That's what it's doing to me. I can't put my transitions in. I have no blurring effects. I have no ability to, because there's, if you guys don't know, CapCut and TikTok they finally inked the deal, right? As you guys know, since September 2025, TikTok was no longer. And then Trump saved TikTok by getting people together to try to divest China's and ByteDance's, but I'm not going to go through all of that, but you guys know about that, okay? Well, they just inked this on the 22nd, and I think they're converting some things over, and I'm terrified because I'm terrified I'm about to lose everything on my account. And CapCut was covered under, and a few other, like Lemonade, and some other apps were covered under this umbrella with the divesting of ByteDance, or ByteDance, I think is what it is. So I think that's what's going on. So I can't show you it, but how many, if you guys could just raise your hand in the chat and let me know how many people have at least seen one variation of the video of Alec and him losing his life. If you haven't, I guess we'll have to go ones and twos. If you have seen the video, put a 1. If you have not seen the video, put a 2. And it doesn't matter which video. I just need, for my next thing, I just need to know that the majority of you guys have at least seen one of the videos of this shooting of this man. Okay, dipping out of charm school. Oh, that's a cute name. Okay, so you haven't seen it. Okay, so we have a few people that haven't seen it yet. Well, I'm going to describe it. I'm going to try my best to describe it. And then I'll ask you, let me describe it first. And then I'll ask the audience if I described it accurately for the ones that have seen it. So what I saw is, and you only see like 3 people. There was 2 women and a guy, right? The guy being the one that ultimately lost his life, Alex Pretti. And so the 2 girls were off to the side. And you see Alex Pretti kind of out in the middle of the road. And he is now with his phone, trying to block traffic, trying to bring people through so he can get the ICE agent. As soon as he stepped out, anyways, he was out in the middle of the road. And then the ICE agent says, okay, so they're getting out of their car. He is now actively interfering with their operation. So you see an officer get out of a vehicle on the one side of the road and start approaching. And then another lady kind of comes out as he's walking toward the sidewalk. And then he starts squaring off with the officer. And then another lady, somehow this other lady ends up being pushed. And he's reaching down to pick her up while they're trying, because they've already decided they're taking him with them. He's impeding their operation. He was the one standing out in the road. It sounds like, so he's trying to help her up, and then somebody just yanks him back to start that arrest. That's what I saw. And as soon as they're over there, something ensued, and they're pepper sprayed. So while he's being pulled back, he has pepper spray in his face, and then he's on the ground. And the officers are trying to get on top of him, and he's fighting them. So he's on the ground. You can see him kicking his feet. You can see him flailing his arm. When you're listening to the actual video, not the slowed down videos, which is always so easy for people to watch the slowed down videos, but you have to watch it as it happens. You can't slow it down. If you're only watching this slowed down, you're doing yourself a disservice. You have to watch it in real time, how it happened in real time. Then after you've seen the stuff happening in real time, then you take that real-time video down, then you start slowing it down and start looking at different spots in the video. But you have to watch it several times in full speed, okay, and how things happened. And that's when you start seeing what's going on. But at the end of the day, As soon as he stepped out into that roadway and started to impede their operation, they had probable cause for an arrest. Once that officer had had enough and exited his vehicle, now he's taking him with him. We did not hear what their vocal exchange was between the two of them, but he squared off with that agent, and then there was another lady, and they ended up pushing the lady out of the way. He reached down to help her, pepper spray, pulled back. Then he started fighting with officers. What you hear officers saying is quit resisting. Quit resisting. You hear them give that command several times, and then all of a sudden you hear gun, 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 right? And then boom, boom, that was it. So you have to watch it in real time, whether you agree with it or not. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is officers are allowed to enforce federal law. When you get involved and obstruct their operation, you have committed a crime. They have probable cause to arrest you, and you shall follow their commands. If you do not, you are resisting arrest. If you brandish a gun or a vehicle, now you're bringing a deadly weapon to an arrest fight, right? Instead of just going down and just being arrested, now you're putting your life and other people's lives in jeopardy. And you guys see this happening over and over again, where the local government out there has told people to arm themselves. So this is absolutely 100% on Tim Walz and Mayor Frey. No different. They are responsible 100% over Alex. Because I specifically heard the government, the state government, and the local government talk about arming yourself. They got this man killed. So let's finish this little snippet, and then we'll move on.
Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. The officer was highly trained and had been serving as a Border Patrol agent for 8 years. The officer has extensive training as a range safety officer and less lethal officer. As mentioned, this is only the latest attack on law enforcement. Across the country, the men and women of DHS have been attacked, shot at, doxxed, had their family members threatened. And, as we have seen, more than 100 vehicle rammings over the past year against federal law enforcement. We will not allow violence against our law enforcement officers, and we need state and local help, state and local law enforcement, to help us coordinate to get violent criminals off the streets. Mayor Frey and Chief O'Hare just a few minutes ago did the opposite of that by omitting the fact that the suspect had a gun and magazines full of ammunition.
Magazines full of ammunition. Magazines. Now, if you have, if you're using or you have a concealed weapons permit or a gun permit or whatever it is, you usually carry the gun. I can tell you, I don't ever recall where I brought additional magazines with me. Ever. Just to throw that out there. Thank you, Let Them 66 says, prayers for our complex here in our small town, we don't have water. My neighbor is calling the emergency number, just praying not a broken water pipe. Oh no! For all of my prayer warriors in our channel, please put your hands and pray for Let Them 66 for speedy water recovery. Thank you. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, we definitely got a lot of prayer angels, so.
In what looks like a situation, again, where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. I want to reiterate what President Donald Trump, Secretary Kristi Noem, myself, Director Marcos Charles, and so many others have said time and again. If you obstruct a law enforcement officer or assault a law enforcement officer, you are in violation of the law and will be arrested.
Boom! You're in violation of the law and will be arrested. Any politician telling you these people are not real law enforcement is trying to get you killed. Because these are absolutely real law enforcement. Not only are they real law enforcement, they're feds. And we all know better than to monkey F with a fed.
Our law enforcement officers take an oath to protect the public. We go to work every day to protect our friends, our neighbors, and our fellow citizens.
Amen.
The fact of the matter is that the law does not enforce itself. It takes men and women who are willing to risk their lives to enforce it.
Guys, remember that. The law doesn't what? It doesn't enforce itself.
The men and women of CBP and ICE, law enforcement, are highly trained professionals who love this country and do this work because they want to leave their kids and their grandkids a country that's safe and secure.
Safe and secure. I think we can all get behind that. I don't see why it's so controversial to not want people that have not been vetted around our children. Okay? These are our most precious cargo. I see a lot of women, a lot of crazy crackpot women putting their children on their backs and going out in sub-zero degrees with their children to protest for illegal people that are and SA children. But hey, you know what? We'll deal with those moms soon, okay? Those moms need to have some parenting classes and need their children taken from them until they learn their lesson in how to be a good mommy, okay? Because clearly they ain't the one. Clearly they ain't the one. So we have this Border Patrol officer, but let's hear, and I know we played this yesterday, but let's hear this Tim Walz, right? We're about to hear Governor Tim Walz speak directly to people of Minnesota. This clip is important, not in pieces, not edited, but in full. So you can hear the language used to inflame fear, i.e., to inflame an insurrection in Minnesota. Without further ado, I'm turning this completely over. This is coming from the governor's office directly. There is no copyright attributed to this. They cannot copyright this. So we're going to play this in its entirety without me interrupting one time so you guys can hear. Aw, thank you, Shelley. I appreciate it.
Right now defies belief. News reports simply don't do justice to the level of chaos and disruption and trauma the federal government is raining down upon our communities. 2,000 to 3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota. Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. They're pulling over people indiscriminately, including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers. And at grocery stores, at bus stops, even at our schools, they're breaking windows, dragging pregnant women down the street, just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans, kidnapping innocent people with no warning and no due process. Let's be very, very clear. this long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. Instead, it's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of Minnesota by our own federal government. Last week, that campaign claimed the life of Renee Nicole Good. We've all watched the video. We've all seen what happened. And yet, instead of conducting an impartial investigation so we can hold accountable the officer responsible for Renee's death, the Trump administration is devoting the full power of the federal government to finding an excuse to attack the victim and her family. Just yesterday, 6 federal prosecutors, including the longtime career prosecutor leading the charge to investigate and eliminate fraud in our state's programs, quit their jobs rather than go along with this assault on the United States Constitution. But as bad as it's been, Donald Trump intends for it to get worse. This week, he went online to promise that, quote, "the day of retribution and reckoning is coming." That's a direct threat against the people of this state, who dared to vote against him 3 times and who continue to stand up for freedom with courage and empathy and profound grace. All across Minnesota, people are stepping up to help their neighbors who are being unjustly and unlawfully targeted. They're distributing care packages and walking kids to school and raising their voices in peaceful protest, even though doing so has made many of our fellow Minnesotans targets for violent retribution. Folks, I know it's scary, and I know it's absurd that we all have to be defending law and order, justice, and humanity while also caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough. Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota. 4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants this chaos. He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our streets. We cannot give him what he wants. We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully. Indeed, as hard as we will fight in the courts and at the ballot box, we cannot and will not let violence prevail. You're angry, I'm angry. Angry is not a strong enough word, but we must remain peaceful. Second, you are not powerless, you are not helpless, and you are certainly not alone. All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. Thousands upon thousands of our fellow Minnesotans are going to be relying on mutual aid in the days and weeks to come, and they need our support. Tonight, I want to share another way you can help. Witness. Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution. The third thing I want to say to you tonight is, we will not have to live like this forever. Accountability is coming at the voting booth and in court. We will reclaim our communities from Donald Trump. We will reestablish a sense of safety for our neighbors, and we will bring an end to this moment of chaos, confusion, and trauma. We will find a way to move forward, and we'll do it together, and we'll not be alone. Every day, we are working with business leaders, faith leaders, legal experts, and elected officials from across this country. They've all seen what Donald Trump is trying to do to our state, and they know their states could be next. And that brings me to the 4th thing I want to say tonight, Minnesota, how incredibly proud I am of the way that you've risen to meet this unbearable moment. But I'm not at all surprised, because this is who we are. Minnesotans believe in the rule of law, and Minnesotans believe in the dignity of all people. We're a place where there's room for everybody, no matter who you are or who you love or where you came from. A place where we feed our kids, we take care of our neighbors, and we look out for those in the shadows of life. We're an island of decency in a country being driven towards cruelty. We will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, of peace. And tonight I come before you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us. Thank you, protect each other, and may God bless the people of Minnesota.
So, you guys heard it in its entirety. That's not leadership, folks. That's not leadership. That's incitement. The governor told citizens to film agents. You're talking about uneducated in the law people going out there, and when they're told to go film, they think that they can get in front of people's vehicles, stand in the middle of the road, stop traffic, obstruct a federal investigation. And he gave them the instructions to do that. To catalog them, to prepare for prosecution, not through lawful oversight, but through mob documentation. Mob documentation, not lawful documentation, mob documentation. That rhetoric doesn't calm tension. It escalates them. It escalates them. He intentionally came out here to escalate the rhetoric, to put targets on the back of our federal agents, to turn his citizen into mob rule mentality. This is unacceptable. This is critical. Federal prosecutors are reportedly examining whether Walz and Frey impeded federal enforcement, and from everything I'm seeing, they have. This is not just rhetoric anymore. This is a legal process. Some have accused Minnesota leadership of using this emotional tragedy, including Renee Good and Alex Pretti shooting, to rally political action rather than seek facts. Whether or not it's true, the optics in the pattern raise legitimate questions. Notice how the clips centers protest and official outrage. This has been the dominant narrative pushed by the state and the local media. Why isn't this moving? Sorry. This has been pushed by local media that federal agents are unaccountable and reckless. But let's slow down and be precise about what we know and what we do not know, right? Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey have publicly condemned federal immigration enforcement actions. Walz has accused ICE of targeting U.S. citizens. Frey has called for ICE to leave the city. This language is inflammatory. And now, according to reporting, Walz and Frey have been subpoenaed as part of this federal investigation into whether they have obstructed federal immigration enforcement. Let that sink in. The political leadership has rallied protest and is now being examined under federal law for obstruction. So now there's a call to action. We want to hear from you about how you see this situation, especially federal authority, local leadership, and accountability. My email is bullhornbetty@gmail.com. That's bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We've got a few more tidbits of information we want you to hear.
Minnesota National Guard is on standby after a tense and forceful standoff in some frigid temperatures. So you're looking at two sets of demonstrators with opposite views on President Trump's immigration crackdown and the shooting death of Renee Good. They confronted each other as temperatures hovered in the single digits up in Minnesota this weekend. This comes as the State Department and the Department of Justice has launched an investigation into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and the mayor of Minneapolis, exploring whether they impeded federal immigration enforcement through public statements that they've made.
Not done yet.
Higby is live on the ground in Minneapolis. So, Cam, what's cooking tonight?
Well, they've started two fires just behind me to keep them warm. It's currently 9 degrees. They're still out here. They've also stacked cinder blocks.
If they're near federal agencies, then they need to have somebody coming out and putting fires out. If these are near federal buildings, fire I'm sorry, is a threat to that federal building and that federal agency. And we need to start using the law to our benefit. That means taking away these propane tanks and extinguishing these fires. And if they do not want to comply or they become combative, dragging their ass to federal jail.
It's not going to keep yourself warm with those. And they're just out here every night. Last night, they tried to pull the fence down surrounding the federal building. They walked through the gate. Eventually, it was locked. It's not good.
Please tell me you haven't seen any women holding babies, please.
No, but the other night when they broke into the hotel that they believed ICE was staying at, I saw lots of toddlers and small children that they brought out to a legitimate riot in the middle of the night with tons of violence.
Oh, my God.
Do these women, are the kids in strollers? What do they have them in, like one of those little swings?
Sometimes they have them in strollers, but the other night I saw several small children just being walked around. And I mean, these are kids that are, you know, this big.
We're not okay with that.
And the fathers? Are dads there?
No.
No fathers.
All right, so it's no dads, it's moms, and they're bringing kids. That's insane.
Because you have liberal white women that are deranged, okay, that need to be in mental wards, okay? And here they are producing offspring and trying to freeze them to death. These people are sick.
Insane. And how
Please don't become a liberal white person, okay?
cold is it? It's 9 degrees?
It's 9 degrees. It's bouncing between 8 and 9.
Okay, so what's the energy tonight? Is it more of a hardcore crew, kind of the Antifa people, or are there women out there as well?
Well,
once I find out some more information, we're going to be writing letters and emails, folks, and trying to demand some accountability for these children. We want these parents to be obviously go to some parenting classes and, you know, have the Department of Children and Family Services, because if they're willing to abuse their children in this way, how are they treating their children at home when nobody's looking? Okay? Anybody that's willing to put their baby, their toddler in harm's way, then they're willing to put their child and toddler and baby in harm's way. Okay, we can't say, oh, well, this is just a protest. She's just doing. No, if she's willing to do it here in the public, what is she doing behind the closed doors? Okay, I'm not okay with this. And I'm not okay with the excuses either.
Women have found their place in Antifa. There are definitely Antifa types out here. Many of them have passed right
Sick.
by us. They wear
They're domestic
their
terrorists.
gas masks and their balaclavas. Those people are always out here. The difference in the crowd is always day and night, literally. So during the day, it's still a very vicious crowd. But at night is when you start to get like groups of Somalis coming in, and they don't. It seems that they just don't really care what happens, and those are the kinds of people that throw a lot of stuff and stuff like that. When Nick and I got our Jeep attacked, they had pre-frozen water bottles. Ooh. So the water bottles were frozen ahead of time and then thrown at our Jeep.
Wait,
so they're trying to
were
assault
under attack? What happened?
A couple nights ago, Nick Sorter and I were out here, and we were in our Jeep trying to keep a low profile. We only came out when there was clashes between protesters and federal agents, and they surrounded our Jeep, forced us to drive through the crowd. Nobody was hit, luckily, but they were throwing frozen water bottles and rocks at the vehicle. And they pulled their cars out in front of us, just like Renee Nicole Good did to those ICE agents.
Wow.
They blocked us from the front and the back.
Oh, my God. All right, well, you guys got to behave yourselves.
So people are putting people in harm's way, you know? I'm sorry, but you put my life in jeopardy. It's you or me, okay? I can promise you I'm coming out smelling like a rose, okay? I don't know about you, but, if it comes down to me to eat or be eaten, give me a knife and fork, baby. I'm not going to change my colors just because I'm online. I'm not going to stop offending people just because I'm here out in the public. But let's be honest, okay? If that's our society, eat or be eaten, well, pass the hot sauce, baby. Pass the hot sauce. Okay? And my audience is just like me. Okay? Sick.
Stay safe. Don't get into too much trouble, but you're doing an amazing job documenting all of this stuff for us.
And you want to talk about, horrible things. So let's go back. And let's not forget, right? Let's not forget what the left has done. They don't care about our worship time. They broke into a church. They stopped people from being able to pray and to exercise their religion, and condemned people calling them fake Christians as they break into their church. And 3 people have been arrested since then. 2 people, of course, because of the corruption in this community, have been released. I hope the judges I hope we start doing something with these judges around this country. We need Congress to act for these 2-tier system judges. If I was out there, do you think I would have been walking? Hell the fuck no. Excuse me on a Sunday, but hell no. Come on. Of course not. Of course not. Okay? Yet people can go in here and do this. I would never in a million years do something like this. I find it an abomination, appalling, if you will. Don Lemon needs to be in prison. Okay? He's needed to be in prison for a really long time. That guy is a pretty messed up individual. Okay? A pretty messed up individual. So what does Donald Trump have to say about this? Well, according to the post on Truth Social, ICE is removing some of the most violent criminals in the world from our country and bringing them back home where they belong. Why is Minnesota fighting this? Do they really want murderers and drug dealers to be ensconced in their community? The thugs that are protesting, including many highly paid, so they're being paid millions of dollars, highly paid professional agitators and anarchists. Is this really what Minnesota wants? I don't believe it's what Minnesota wants. I don't even believe Tim Walz is a legitimate governor. I think he was, we're finding out the Dominion machines were truly, in fact, changing votes. We know that these machines have been used for a while. I don't think he was ever the governor. The crooked governor and Congresswoman Omar, who married her brother, don't mind because it keeps the focus and attention off the $18 billion plus fraud that has taken place in the state. And we have to ask ourselves, why is this place rioting? The only thing that's different is that this blew the top off all the fraud in the country. We finally found the deep state's pocketbook through all this fraudulent. We found out how they were funding. We knew we were funding all of this chaos throughout the world. I knew we were funding all this chaos throughout the world. I've told you guys for years we're funding all this chaos throughout the world. But for the first time, we didn't know how it was being funded. I assumed it was going through our nonprofits. And I started working to look in our nonprofits, and I knew that there was fraud in the nonprofits specifically. But I didn't know how to prove it, right? I just knew that it was going on, and I've always told you guys about it. And I've always told you I don't have the receipts to prove it, but this is what's going on. We're going to ultimately find out this is going to be the case. This is going to be the case. I don't have a crystal ball, okay? I'm not a psychic. I'm just an average Joe that has a channel in the true crime world that just knows a lot about politics, that is a political activist and advocate around this country. And so I knew that these things, this is the only way that they could be, getting these funds. But at the end of the day, I didn't know the processes or how this was going. Well, now this has been blown off the tops, and now they're trying to cover it up because they all look bad, and they're all under federal investigation. And so now we have an entire state, like the entire government, under investigation, federal investigation for this epic fraud to the people. And they're the only state that is sowing all of this insurrection and chaos. I mean, there has to be a reason for it. And the only reason I can see is the fraud. So I truly believe that this statement we're seeing here is true, accurate, and correct, But we're just average Joes over here, okay, guys? I mean, we have to understand that our media is lying to us. I've come to this world because our media lies to us. Like, I believe, and I always tell people, if you want the truth, don't go to mainstream media. You come to social media, right? Everybody knows that. If you want the truth, you come to social media. Nobody believes mainstream media anymore. Mainstream media is like the soap operas we used to have, right? Remember that? Like Guiding Light, and Days of Our Lives, right? They're like mainstream media is the Inquirer of news. Okay, and if you don't know, if you're too young to know what the Inquirer is, you're probably too young for this channel. I'm just saying, but welcome. Welcome. I'm just saying. All my children, yeah. Yep, some of the creepy shit. The brother and sister was separated because the moms blew up and they came back and it's like, oh my God. I didn't know you were my brother. I need to stop. Oh, good gracious. How's my time? Look at that. Look at that, guys. I mean, you can't get any more professional than this. All right, we started. Today is Sunday. I wanted to make sure you guys get off to church. It's not even 9 a.m. yet, so I got to tell you, you guys are you did a good impersonation, she says. I know, I do too. I do, Southern Grammy. I get it, you know. I want Don Lemon arrested, and it's going to be, he will get arrested, okay? Let me tell you. I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi anymore. I used to have such high hopes for her, but she's let me down so many times. So, to be honest with you, I wouldn't bet on, you know, Pam Bondi's strongly worded letter. I sent them a strongly worded letter. I remember, listen to this, my best friend, you guys know I'm a cheap bitch, okay? Well, she's got a son, and he's like a brother to me. And he always sits there and teases me back in the day, right? Back in the day. I used to, like, Laura would call me and she'd be like, da, 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 da. I said, well, we need to do this, and this. And he'd always pop up in the background. What are you going to do? Write a strongly worded letter? Yeah. And now I'm saying that about Pam Bondi. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I'm sorry. Where's my danger? Where's my danger? Okay. Not here. These Christians will go out even after surgery. They expect me to go to church. No, Mom wouldn't let me, so I got an excuse. Well, we have. If you guys would like to, the kids over here, we go to Countryside Christian Church. It's out of Clearwater, but they have it online. And if you guys would like to go, I mean, a lot of the coffee club is there every Sunday morning. It's starting in about, 10 minutes. You know, they're starting to get prepared. So if you guys would like to go over there, please consider. It's Countryside Christian Church. You'll find a lot of your coffee club members in chats. So it's like you guys just having another day. Anyways, guys, I'm going to let you go. I know church is about to start, but I do want to remind you all, if you haven't subbed up to the Bullhorn Betty channel, please sub up and turn your bell to all, because I am not one of those creators that put a schedule up for the week, okay? Typically, we're all over the place with our channels and our times. We bring good content to you, but the problem is I wear two hats. I wear a true crime hat, and I'm a political activist and advocate, so I'm involved in my county politics, I'm involved in my state politics, and I'm involved in my federal politics. I just spoke before a subcommittee at the state capitol in Tallahassee just this past week for Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. If you guys had not had an opportunity to see that, please go over to the Florida Politics channel and you can look at that. That was for House Bill 125 that I spoke before. And then, of course, I do a lot of political stuff here in my personal county and throughout the state. I keep my politicians accountable. And I put all of that out to you guys because I know that some of you, like even Southern Grammy, she got involved. She got involved with children. She got involved with advocating for children because of this channel. So it's like there's a lot of things that we do right in this world, and it's part of that is making sure that you guys are activated and you guys are active in your own communities. So if you guys would like to come to church and you're immobile or just had surgery, or maybe you don't have a car but you still want to Maybe you haven't been in a while. Maybe life is beating you up. Maybe you're really not loving life. Maybe you love life a lot. Maybe you need to give some praise, right? Maybe you need to shake some baggage. Today's the day. Head over to Countryside Christian Church. Be there or be square, guys. God bless you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention was worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And later this afternoon, we are going live about the Sebastian Rogers case. And we're going to start incorporating some of that Dee Warner case in it. So if you guys didn't get a chance to watch the Dee Warner video, you're going to want to watch it today before we get started on Sebastian Rogers this afternoon. So go over to the videos, search for Dee Warner, and watch that video about her story. And then we're going to be using that story as the basis for some of our talking points this afternoon on Sebastian Rogers. All right, guys, we will see you soon. God bless you, and thank you for being here.